If you've been on your fertility journey for a while, there comes a point where everything just feels so heavy. Like you are doing all the things, you're tracking, researching, trying different approaches. And instead of feeling empowered, you feel overwhelmed, exhausted, completely disconnected from yourself and who you used to be. And in those moments, it can feel like what you need is to start over, to do something new or different, or to start doing more. But what if instead of doing more, you took a reset? Not a massive, dramatic overhaul, but a subconscious recalibration. In today's episode, I'm going to walk you through a really powerful 4-part fertility reset. This will bring you back into connection with your body, your energy, your nervous system, and what you really need right now, so that you can move forward feeling clearer, calmer, and more supported. Welcome to your journey to fertility. This is the podcast that blends science with spirit to give you all the tools you need as you navigate your fertility journey. I'm your host, Jennifer Edmonds, and for the last 15 years, I've been helping women on their journeys to motherhood and beyond. I believe that combining the latest scientific research along with the best energetic and mindset practices will help you to avoid putting your life on hold and bring you closer to your baby. Each week, you'll learn ways to support your fertility and trust your body so that you can stop stressing that you'll never have your baby and finally walk your path to motherhood. This is the Your Journey to Fertility podcast. Hello, welcome back to the podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today, for pressing play, coming and sharing your time with me. And oh my goodness, today we start Embrace the Journey. This is my global free 3-day live fertility yoga series event, and it is not too late to join. So as this episode goes live, we are commencing day 1, but we're running 3 days consecutively. So it is not too late to get your name onto the list to join up for the next 2 days. And everyone who registers will receive a replay of each and every day as well. If you are not familiar, this is, like I said, my biggest training of the year. It is a way for us to bring about thousands of women from all over the world into one place. We share in that beautiful energy of a whole bunch of women who get it. And we get 3 days to go through fertility yoga, breathwork practices, guided meditations. I am going to show you in real time all of the tools that I speak about so much on this podcast. We get to put them into your toolbox. You get to say, gosh, this one felt really good. I'm going to be able to use that next time I need it. It is a way for you to start approaching your fertility journey from a different perspective. And I would love to have you there. So if you haven't already joined the registration list, I'm going to pop the link down into the show notes. The web address is elementpilatesyoga.com/waitlist. If you have any questions over the next couple of days, you can come and ask me in person if you're joining me live, or please feel free to email me or send me a DM. Cannot wait to have you there. All right, as we get into today's episode, so I want to tell you what inspired this one. The other day, I got this comment on one of my posts on Instagram, and it wasn't a trolly comment, and it was something like, "Don't you get sick of having to relive the fertility journey every single day when you're past this? Like you got your family, you're like, why are you putting yourself back there? Well, I couldn't imagine anything worse." And it really stopped me in my tracks, because I don't ever think about that. The idea of working in this space, I think, lights me up enormously. It is such a beautiful way to be able to spend my day and my time. But what really kind of struck me about it is, well, why am I not triggered? Why isn't this hard for me? And I really think that it speaks to the power of this healing work, this somatic work. And, I get to walk alongside people in some of the darkest moments of their lives and then have them say to me, "I am so glad you were there," or "I couldn't have done this without you." And honestly, that outweighs all of the hard parts tenfold. And there are a lot of hard parts too. I will not lie. But as I said, it speaks so much to the depth of this somatic work, of being able to come back from the trauma of infertility and everything that we go through. It says so much about what you are capable of and how much you are able to heal on your own. So this episode was inspired by that idea because that is what I'm here for. I would love to offer you. So this episode was inspired by that idea because that is what I'm here for. I want to offer you the guidance and support that I never had. It was so bloody hard to find when I was struggling on this journey. So I want to kind of come out of that a little bit and make this episode a little bit fun. It is designed for you if you feel like you are already doing everything. You are feeling completely overwhelmed. You are consuming a lot of information, but not exactly knowing how it relates to you or what to take and what to cut out. We're going to cut out all of that noise. And if you find yourself drifting into fertility burnout, this is something I've spoken about before on the podcast. It is so common and so normal. Of course you feel this way. It is a huge thing to go through. So I want you to know you don't need to start over. You need to come back to yourself. I got to the point when I was trying to conceive that I realized every little part of my life had become about my fertility journey. I remember I declined a wedding invitation from one of my best friends. It was a destination wedding. And I'm like, oh, what if it clashes with a treatment cycle? What if I do go and I have to explain why I'm not drinking? It'll be overseas, and how much will it cost to get there when we could spend that money on IVF? What if I'm early pregnant and I get food poisoning from being in a foreign country? And there is honestly no room for fun or joy in getting a wedding invitation from one of my best friends. And I don't regret that because we can't have regrets. We make the best decisions with everything that we have available to us at the time, right? But I just think how sad that I was at that point in my life that I didn't think, oh, what a joyful experience this could be. All I looked at it as was this like horrible thing that would make my life so much more difficult. And I really realized that my journey of trying to get those 2 pink lines had taken over my life. There was zero room for fun, for joy. I remember after work, every day I'd be heading to acupuncture appointments or reflexology or fertility hypnosis. It was so endless. I don't think I ever provided any time in my day, my week, that was just for me. So if any of that is relatable, I think this reset is really going to help. So this fertility reset is not a strict diet. This is not what I'm about. It is not about more supplements or a perfect routine or fixing yourself or fixing anything about you. It is more about releasing pressure, clearing mental and emotional clutter, reconnecting with your body, and creating space. And this is the biggest one. This reset is not about becoming someone new. It's about coming back to who you are underneath everything that this journey has made you forget. Losing yourself in the process is something I hear over and over again with all the women that I work with. So we have 4 parts that we'll go through. Each has like a mini homework assignment, but I don't want you to have to do them all at once. Again, we're not here for overwhelm. So over the next week, maybe implement one thing every couple of days and then report back to yourself or to me. How do you feel? Maybe journal it out. Take a few minutes just to drop in, see if anything has begun to shift. So let's start with number 1 is the physical reset. So the physical part is not, again, about restriction or being perfect or over-optimizing anything. We're going to move towards nourishment, rest, and making your life feel a little bit more simple. So just stop for a moment wherever you are. Even if you're driving, you just take a full deep breath in and out. Give your shoulders a little roll. Release any tightness in your neck. And I want you to ask yourself, how do you feel in your body right now? And there's no judgment here. Whatever comes up, just notice it. Oh, I feel tight. I feel constricted. I feel tired. Maybe today I feel more energized. I feel lighter. I feel open, whatever it is. Just notice and then ask yourself, if you were not trying to conceive right now, what is one thing that you could do this week that would make you feel good? I'm not saying you have to go skydiving if you're in your 2-week wait. Maybe skydiving is your thing. That's great. But I want you just to know, what is like the first thing that comes up? You're like, oh God, I'd love to go do that. Give yourself permission to do something fun this week, something that lights you up. And think about how else we can make your life physically feel a little bit easier this week. I love this 80-20 rule of nutrition. And it's not just about fertility, it's about life and lifestyle, right? Eating in a more relaxed way. And I work with a lot of fertility nutritionists and naturopaths who would never, ever expect anyone to eat perfectly 100% of the time. I would like to know how many of you have actually done that and has actually worked. Because for me, I know it really didn't. And the majority of women that I speak to who go down this I've got to be perfect path, it doesn't work for them either. But instead, it's what we do more often and consistently that has the biggest impact. So this week, I also want you to prioritize two more things: gentle movement, whether that's just getting out for a 20-minute walk. Maybe it is coming and joining me at Embrace the Journey and doing some beautiful fertility yoga practices. And prioritize sleep. Put your phone away at least an hour before bed and do something else in this time instead. Everyone who registers for Embrace the Journey gets 2 free meditation gifts that you can start using straight away, and they are going to help you get to sleep. So, number 1, this physical reset. Your homework this week is to go and do one thing that feels fun and joyful for you. Think about that 80-20% kind of rule of nutrition. We're not being perfect at every moment. Gentle movement and prioritizing sleep. Feels like a lot, but I want you to break it all down. Just one every day or two. So number 2 is the emotional reset. On this journey, so many emotions build up over time: the grief, the frustration, comparison, the anger, the resentment, all of it. And we push it away because no one wants to feel all of this, right? These are ugly emotions that they don't feel good. But when we push them away, it doesn't get rid of them, as I'm sure you can relate to. Anything that we don't acknowledge, it just keeps coming back. It just keeps coming back. It stays on that loop. So this reset is about letting yourself feel again. And I'm sorry to say this, but in order to start feeling some of the good stuff again, we have to go through the hard stuff too. We get very numb. And I don't know about you, but I got to this point, in the middle of IVF where I just didn't feel anything anymore. This state of emotional shutdown, as we know, it is our nervous system's way of trying to protect us. And it's sort of a safety mechanism, isn't it? But it is no way to live. When you think, I'm not going to get my hopes up. I'm just going to stay in this low level state of, apathy or whatever, because I don't want to get my heart broken again. But that doesn't work either. So what I want you to do is start to name these emotions. Maybe it's just hand on heart, taking a deep breath and asking yourself, what emotions are coming up for me today, this week, this moment? Putting pen to paper and writing them out is a really powerful way of acknowledging them and allowing them to process. There is something incredibly powerful about journaling. And create space to release what you're feeling. One of the most woo-woo things, I'd forgotten about this. A friend of mine reminded me of it the other week. One of the craziest things I did when I was like in the depths of struggling on this journey was I went out to this sound healing retreat out in the desert. We were living in Dubai. And it was this beautiful, 2-day retreat where you're camping, you're doing all this sound bath. It was over the full moon. And one of the practices that this woman got us to do one night was to scream at the moon and just get out all of your frustration. She's playing this big gong and this loud gong music is sounding and we're all screaming. A bunch of women. It was crazy, but it also felt really good afterwards. And look, I'm not saying you have to go out to the desert and scream at the full moon, but sometimes maybe get your frustrations out somehow. Punch pillows, scream into pillows, go into the forest and scream it out if you can. Just find a way for you to physically release it. I want you to also remember that with emotions, you do not have to be positive all of the time. You don't have to be in this quote unquote high vibe state in order for you to bring your baby home. We know that that is not how manifestation works. So it is more about, again, this idea of consistency in what we do often. So allow what is there, acknowledge it. And sure, perhaps you say to yourself today, I feel really, really frustrated, or I feel just so sad. And I'm not saying that once you acknowledge it, and kind of release, give yourself permission to release these emotions. I'm not saying that they won't come back again, but the more we do this, I promise you, the more they lose their hold over you. And that is the difference. So your homework this week, name out those emotions, whether it's to yourself quietly or you journal them out, and create some space to release, whether that's physically, emotionally, screaming, kicking, whatever it is. The third part of our reset is the nervous system reset. And this is something I am so passionate about. Everything comes back to this. Chronic stress puts us into survival mode, and this is a really hard way to live. I saw this awesome video on Instagram. I'm going to have to share it next time one of her videos comes up. She was so good. And she's sitting in her car, like shoving a whole bunch of sushi rolls down as quick as she can. And then she stops. And then she says, okay, I have to remind my nervous system I'm not being chased by a tiger at every moment of the day. And that's so it, right? Like I can relate to that. Thinking I've got 10 minutes for lunch. I've got to quickly shove something down so I'm not starving at 4 p.m. And these little moments where we are rushing, these are all teaching our nervous systems that we are needing to be in survival mode, that we do need to be on high alert. So just cutting that circuit where you can and just noticing, where am I going into this like state of panic or state of, well, it has to happen now. I have to do this. And, when you go down that rabbit hole and you get carried away by your thoughts, just starting to notice them, become aware. And what happens to your body in that moment? We get tight, we get constricted, hyper alert, we get protective. So this reset is about reminding your nervous system, of safety, of slowing down. Even if it helps you, I don't know if this is something you find annoying or helpful. I go between the two. But you can put a reminder, put your alarm on for like every hour this day or every 2 hours, whatever works. And when that alarm goes off, it's your chance to take 5 deep, slow breaths. That consistent regulation is reminding your brain there is no tiger chasing you. And in that space of constant, high alert, this is not the place where we want to be to conceive. So whatever it is for you to reset your nervous system this week, to remind your brain and your body that you are not in survival mode. So I have 2 other practices that you can do this week if you want to. 2 other little additional ones too, just noticing when you're going into panic mode. So when you wake up, I want you to not check your phone for at least 30 minutes. I mean, you can use your alarm and just like press off, all good. But then don't open your emails, don't open your social media, don't open the news, goodness, and start scrolling at least for 30 minutes. Let your body wake up a little bit more naturally before you bombard it with work, life, pregnancy announcements, the chaos that is the earth. And allow your brain just to ease into the day a little bit more gently. And the second thing I want you to do is have your lunch or your dinner or your breakfast without doing anything else. And bonus points if you get to have your favorite meal. That's always a really nice way to do this at the same time. I don't know about you, but there's something so much more fun about buying lunch. Like I'm happy to make my breakfast, make my dinner, but buying lunch just feels like such a treat. So when you are having your lunch, whatever meal it is this week, can you just be there and just taste beautiful flavors? You buy yourself a really nice coffee to go with it and just sit there and enjoy what you're doing, one thing at a time. A regulated nervous system creates a body that is more open to receiving. So receiving more joy, more moments of happiness. It brings that lightness back into your life. And yes, it provides space for you receiving your baby. And again, download my free meditations when you sign up to Embrace the Journey, because they are going to help you reset your nervous system as well. Now, lastly, the fourth part of this is the energetic and the identity reset. Who have you become on this journey? I told that story about when I got a wedding invitation from my friend. I pretty much hated who I was becoming. I didn't even recognize myself. I was just so hyper-focused, so controlling of everything in my life, so disconnected. Oh, it's so hard to connect with other people who don't understand what you're going through. But I was just so disconnected from what I liked about myself and what I found joyful in my life. So instead, this week, I want you to reset your identity from the person who is trying to fix everything to the woman who supports herself. Shifting into this idea of being able to let go of timelines and pressure. I have so many episodes on letting go of timelines and surrendering, which you can go back and listen to. I know that part of the journey is so, so hard. And especially when you're going through something like IVF, because there is a very specific timeline. But all you can do is decide in the right now, this moment by moment choice, to ask yourself, what do I need today? Who am I becoming on this journey? Am I becoming someone who, gosh, I wouldn't even want to be friends with me? I just think, who would want to be friends with me when I was in the middle of IVF? I felt like an emotional disaster. We need to find ways of helping you live your life again, to reconnect with that trust within your body, that trust that everything is going to work out. So how to implement all of this without overwhelm? Again, do not do everything at once. I want you to pick one area to start. As I said, these small shifts create these bigger changes. And it is consistency over perfection. And I talk about this a lot on my private podcast series, The Secret Fertility Shift. But this reframe of your identity on this journey is huge. There is a link to The Secret Fertility Shift in the show notes if you want to go and download that for yourself. Again, that's a free audio series that you can listen to. But think about in terms of the idea of this identity, focus on the kind of parent that you want to be. So not the person who's trying to conceive, but the parent, the person who has the baby. How would she show up? Asking yourself, what does your baby need from you right now? Your baby is not coming to fix you. They are not coming to fix everything about your life. They are coming to add to your life, to expand it. And what kind of life do you want them to come into? You know, what life and what kind of experiences do you want to create with them? So your last homework assignment for this week is to do something with your baby. Now, people might think you've gone a little bit crazy, which is good. Get crazy, get weird, get woo, do all the things. But I want you to pick one activity that you can do this week with your baby. You are going to become their mother, their parent. You are going to totally shift your identity from trying to being. You can do this on your own. If you don't want anyone to think that you're crazy, or you don't want your partner to be like, okay, she's officially lost. If you don't want to look like a crazy person walking around the supermarket talking to your baby that no one else can see. Although I do have a student in New York City who does this, and no one looks twice at her, which I find hilarious. But maybe it's a car ride and your baby is just gurgling and enjoying listening to your voice in the back seat. Maybe you do want to take them shopping or to the park. You're just going for a walk. Imagine you're pushing the pram around and you're having a chat about all the things that you can see. So pick one thing this week that you can do with your baby. So as we get towards the end of this episode, this is a reset that you can return to anytime. You know, it's just a gentle, beautiful, safe thing. Maybe you make it part of your routine. This work is never a one and done thing. Keep returning to it. I know it's so easy to listen to something and think, cool, I'm going to do that when I've got time or whatever, but do it and do it now. Make a plan to do it now, because otherwise your subconscious is going to keep pulling you back to your old programming. And before you know it, you're going to be spiraling back. So you don't need to do more going forwards, but sometimes you need to create space for your body to catch up. So I'd love to know what you decided to start with this week and what kind of mini practices here you were able to fit into your day. And if you do nothing but place a hand on your heart every few hours or a couple of times through your day and take 5 deep breaths, know that you are doing more than enough. Remember, you can soften and you can reset and you can come back to yourself at any moment that you need. This reset is a return. It's not like we're starting over afresh. Is that a word, afresh? We're coming back to remembering who you are. You wanted to have this baby because you wanted to create more joy, more excitement in your life. Your body responds to safety, not pressure. So these small, gentle shifts are so incredibly powerful. And so please come and join me this week during my live series. It is not too late to join. Plus, like I said, you get all of the replays. We also have a bonus episode dropping this Friday. And I'm going to be sharing the journey of one of my beautiful students who has been navigating years of secondary infertility. She went through so many rounds of IVF, pregnancy loss, and never knowing exactly why things were so hard for her when they hadn't been the first time around. And she's going to share exactly what she did to finally complete her family. So until then, until the next episode, I hope to have you back here for that. But in the meantime, I am sending you all of my wishes as you continue your own journey to fertility. I went through years of struggling through infertility, multiple diagnoses, IVF cycles, and pregnancy loss. And against all the odds, I managed to bring home 2 beautiful babies. So much of this defied logic. And that is what happens when you are able to shift your mindset, regain trust in your body, and find a new way of approaching your fertility journey. This is exactly what we're going to explore together inside Embrace the Journey. In this brand new live virtual experience at the end of this month, I will guide you through a powerful process that takes a deep dive look into how you can sync with your cycle, regulate your nervous system, and overcome all those limiting subconscious beliefs. All of this is with one goal in mind: to bring you closer to your baby. This is a 3-day event that shows you how to use the incredible practices of fertility yoga, meditation, and breathwork to see what is possible. Over the last few years, thousands of women from all over the world have taken this training with so many incredible results. So join the list now over at elementpilatesyoga.com/waitlist or follow the link in the show notes. I cannot wait to see you there.